This week's episode is sponsored by Change. Change is the #1 mentoring programme that teaches you e-commerce from scratch. Change has a real community with real results. I have been working with Ryan for many years now and have attended many of his events and retreats across the world and got to meet members and the amazing community of like-minded people. Ryan works with a lot of big names in the business world, helping them build online businesses and e-commerce. Change offers personal one-on-one support, no experience needed, but like anything, this takes time and is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you put the work in, you will get the results. E-commerce and online shopping is getting bigger and bigger. This is a great opportunity for anyone that is looking for financial freedom. For more information, go follow Ryan on Instagram at RyanJB, and he will guide you through the steps to help you get started and build a successful online business. You can now follow me on all my social media platforms to find out who my latest guest will be. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're notified for when my next podcast goes live. And boom, we're on. And today's guest, we've got Anastasia. Anastasia, how are we?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. First and foremost, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem.
You messaged a few weeks ago, you're doing your TikToks and Instagrams, the kind
Yeah.
of honey trap, robberies, dressing up,
Yeah.
dates, robbing guys, in
Yeah.
prison. You know, a good friend of mine, Nia, who I
Yeah,
love
we do,
to
yeah.
bits. But how's life?
It's good at the moment. So obviously I've turned my life around. So now I'm working. I started a new job actually on Monday. Obviously I'm not going to disclose where I work, but yeah, it's assistant manager, sales consultant at a new place. But I'm on to bigger money and bigger things now. So it's better than selling carpets anyway, which I was doing before that with a leaking roof. But yeah,
Congratulations, though.
thank you very much.
No, it's a long way since 10, 15 years ago to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
But before we get into it all, I always like to go back to the start with my guests, get more of a bit of understanding about you, where you grew up and how it all began.
Wow, I grew up in Wolverhampton. I had a normal family background. My mum was a police officer, MAPA trained. My dad was a plumber. Obviously, working class family, detached houses. At school, I was pretty good at school. When I left school, I basically went straight to jail. So, but obviously, I had undergoing issues like ADHD, bipolar, personality disorder, mild autism that obviously weren't recognised at school, and that's why I just ended up the way I did. Ended up in jail.
So good parents, what mum's a copper.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
I know, she says that to me every day. But yeah.
What were you like at school?
I was good at school. I still passed all my GCSEs, but I was very different to everybody else, if you know what I mean. I knew I had issues myself that weren't recognised. So like, for example, when I was at school, like, just say I was in like the music department, so there was music, different pods that come off a room. So I'd watch the teacher walk around all the pods. I'd sneak out the pod, go into the gym department, rob everyone's phones and money out of the blazers, and get a hot chocolate, go back in the gym department, go back in the music department, sorry, and then I'd walk past it, smiling after, but then I never did anything with the phones or any of the stuff. I just used to just snap them and chuck them over the railway. So obviously this was just an underlying mental health issue that I had that obviously wasn't recognised. But then obviously when I left school and hanging around with lads, obviously they were older lads, so obviously my behaviour just excelled. But I don't even have a reason why I did it, because I had everything I ever wanted with my parents. So it's just like, how did this Anastasia, the Princess Anastasia, turn into the monster Anastasia, basically?
When did you start stealing?
At school, I used to slit at the top of my blazer pocket. I used to slit a bit with a Stanley blade where the zip was. So obviously, I used to go into Superdrug, just chuck loads of makeup in there, and then I used to just line it all around my blazer. So even if I walked out the shop and it went off, if they checked the pockets of my blazer, they wasn't going to find anything because it was behind the lining. But no one ever taught me that. No one even showed me that. I just did it.
So you weren't taught from uncles, dad,
No,
one? Because
no.
I used to steal when I was a kid as well, but it was like bars of chocolate and just stupid shit. I wasn't getting in with tinfoil bags and filling them up. Do you know what I'm saying? I was just
Yeah.
trying to survive and just get food
But maybe it's just because having a nice background, I just wanted everything anyway.
to rebel.
I don't know, really. It's just, I don't know. I actually can't even answer that question myself. Because obviously my mum always give me everything I ever wanted, and I was an only child as well. So she gave me everything I ever wanted, but I still was like that. It's just, I think it's just having ADHD, to be honest. Because that does come with it, to be fair.
Do you think it's screaming out for attention as well?
No, because I never used to tell anyone I was doing it. I just used to do it on my own. Or now and again, I'd sell like a little bit of makeup at school for a few fags.
What age did you start smoking?
About 14, 15.
How was family life?
Good, really good. Like, there was no issues with family life. I used to go on luxury holidays to Thailand, Tenerife, Spain, travelled around. So there's never any problems with family life. The only problem I did have, my mum had cancer at a young age, but maybe that affected my behaviour. But I haven't got a clue why I behaved the way I did.
Like a scream out for help?
I don't know. Everyone just used to call me Mad Anna. That was my nickname.
Do you think that name sticks as well when you have to live up to that sometimes?
I think so. And then obviously it just made me 10 times worse.
You've got to keep
Yeah.
raising the bar, kind of fill
Yeah.
that name.
Yeah, it's just like the area I lived in as well. Well, I was from Wolverhampton, but it wasn't like a rough area in Wolverhampton. It was Codsall, which is the outskirts, and which is like actually probably one of the most wealthiest areas in Wolverhampton. But then you did have the lads I used to hang around with, which were called the V8 Grey Bally Gang. So obviously I started hanging around with people like that, but then I moved on to the more rougher areas and started hanging around with the people that were onto the big time stuff.
So you've came from the good upbringing, good house, good family values. You tend to see that, like a lot of girls who go to like private school and stuff, they end up ones who massive coke addiction, want to hang about with the bad
Yeah, that
girls.
was the same with me.
They feel as if something's missing,
Yeah.
you know?
It's probably a bit of excitement at the time. But obviously, mum and dad were saying, obviously, they were trying to guide me in life, and I just wasn't listening to what they were saying. So obviously, when I was younger, I decided to move myself out at the age of 16, and that's how I ended up, obviously, the honey trap robbery in Wolverhampton. So that was when I did my first stint in jail on my first conviction.
What age was the telltale signs that you had issues?
Well, I always said from like 8 or 9 years old, I thought I had ADHD because I wasn't concentrating. And it's just like I used to do spiteful things to people at school. Like if someone to play horses, for example, at primary school, I just used to purposely throw bricks at their heads instead of actually, do you know what I mean, chase it like a horse or just throw it at them. Or I was writing nasty letters to the neighbour. And I was about 5 or 6 then. My mum will remember this. Basically, there was this fat woman that lived across the road, and I wrote a really nasty letter saying how fat she was. I posted it through the door, and obviously I used to ride my bike in the cul-de-sac, and she come up to me and she's like, "I saw you post that letter," and I remember just going, "Oh no, mum's gonna find out." And I went back home, and I remember mum saying to me, "What's the matter, Anastasia?" That's how she talks, by the way. You look as white as a ghost. I was like, nothing, like thinking, please don't go and speak to my mum. So it did start from a young age, but I don't know what caused it because I had the best upbringing that anyone could have had, to be honest.
Did anyone ever try and get you help? Like in your teens? Before you turned 16? Like being that rebellious and doing daft shit and craving that attention? Did anybody, your mum or that, ever try and...
Not really, to be honest, because I don't think my mum knew what was wrong with me. And obviously, because she was suffering from secondary cancer at the time, it was just, I was just hard to deal with, to be fair. And I just used to disappear for days on end.
It could be a coping mechanism as well.
Yeah, and then I just used to roll back. So it was like I'd roll back in different people's clothes. I remember the once I went on a session on MCAT because I was really bad on the MCAT when I was about 19 as well. So I went on a massive session, ended up turning back up with SpongeBob boxes on, a Superman top and a hat, with glasses on after 5 days. And my mum was just like, "Look at the state of you." Like I just used to do disappearing acts like that.
Do you regret that?
Yeah, I do. Like if I could turn my life back around now, I'd say, what were you doing?
My dad was the same. He was diagnosed with leukemia.
Yeah.
But instead of being there for the family, I was taking a lot of coke, but then I took a lot of weed.
Yeah.
And people think you fucking state of you, but that's how you're dealing with it. You don't know how to handle it. You don't want to see the people you love deteriorate because it's all you've got, it's all you know, but yet these are the people who would destroy the most.
Exactly. But obviously I was never even around drugs either. It's like, when I first went to jail as well, I never actually I've never been like chucked into a drug lifestyle. I didn't know about it until obviously I went to jail. Then I saw people self-harming, taking drugs and stuff. So it was just like a different life to me. So obviously when I got out after the first sentence, that's when I started taking cocaine, because I just thought, because obviously I'd lived with people that were doing that sort of life. So then I just thought it was just a normal thing to do. But then it just got taken too far again. And then I ended up in jail the second time, if you know what I mean.
So it's sort of petty crimes, stealing, shoplifting, writing letters, to then
Yeah, but I
Right.
never got done for any of those. But I think that was the issue, because I was really calculated and smart about those, if you know what I mean. And I never used to tell anyone about it.
Mhm.
So then
So
it was just,
16,
yeah, until I was 16.
and then you leave the house.
Yeah, I left the house, ended up living with a boyfriend at the time, but he was like 19. And then obviously I was hanging around with 19-year-olds. Yeah. So I'll talk about the offence that I did. So basically, we used to go uptown. Obviously, I was only 16 at the time, and we used to go into a place called Quadrant in Wolverhampton, which was like a club. But obviously, it's not open now anyway. So I used to go in there on the weekend, and then it was me and 3 lads. One of the lads that was involved actually is a little weasel. He never actually got caught for anything. So on the first night, we're down the subway, Bilston Street Island in Wolverhampton, and they were just punching anyone who walked down there. And then, because I was drunk and, you know, they were like, oh, just go and walk up there and talk to some people and just lure them down. So then I was just literally looking around thinking, oh my God. So I was literally just picking people that looked rich, luring them down, and then obviously they just get violently robbed. But I didn't really think it was a bad thing that I was doing, to be honest. I didn't see it as a street robbery. And my mum was in the police then as well. And I could have got her sacked from work from that. But obviously I didn't see the bigger picture, and I didn't see how wrong that was to do that, to be honest.
How are you getting them down the lane?
I had to lure him down. I just said, oh, I don't know where I'm going. Can you walk me home, please? I just need to go under the subway and just walk to the other side. And then they just walked with me, and then that was it.
Did any of them ever try anything with you?
No, never. But that's what I think. Actually, do you know what? That is a good point. So these people that I lured down, I was 16. They knew how old I was. One of them was 28. One of them was 26. And I know it was a bad thing that happened to them, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But at the end of the day, what were they planning to do with the 16-year-old walking them down to the subway? So on another hand, you could see it as, I've saved somebody else from something worse happening,
Yeah, but again,
in a way.
and maybe in the perfect world in your mind, but
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah,
that's
but
how I was
again,
thinking.
some people are good as well, where they may be doing a good deed. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got a daughter at 15, and if she was to do that shit, like, I would go off my fucking head.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
But
I look back now and I just think, what was I doing?
I think
I have
good to
regret.
try and block out, okay, maybe they were trying to do something, but you're asking them for help,
Yeah.
you know? So you end up doing that. What sort of stuff he's getting? Just wallets, phones?
Oh, God. It's even worse than that. I think it was just bullets, anything. So I think a man had a bag of washing on one of them. Like, it was just proper scumbaggy, to be honest. Like, this is a major regret of my life, but I'm happy to just talk about it now. Just to make other people see that I'm young, maybe naive, not to get in themselves in that sort of situation, because it's not big and it's not clever, is it, at the end of the day? And I could have really affected someone's lives doing that, so embarrassing, but I
Yeah,
don't
of
mind
course.
talking
But on the
about
other
it.
hand as well, you're being groomed. You're being
Yeah.
manipulated, even though you know what you're doing. You're probably thriving on that, want to be part of something,
We're Madonna.
living up to that reputation.
Yeah.
How many people were doing the robberies?
There's me and 3 lads, but obviously we did it on the first night, and I wouldn't have gone to jail if we didn't do it on the second night. But the ringleader who actually started the idea, he wasn't there on the second night, so he never got caught, if you know what I mean. So then it was just me and another 2 lads. But obviously one of them, he was from a little bit of a bad background, but the other one, he was from a good background as well. So his family were just like, what are you doing as well? Because obviously he lived in an all right area.
So how many robberies did you get charged with?
2,
And what did you get?
33 months for those.
For 2 robberies? First offence?
Yeah, first offence.
Is that because of who your mum was as well? To make an example?
I think, yeah, I presume so, yeah. But they didn't mention my name in the paper for it.
Seems a bit extreme though, 33 months.
Yeah, because I didn't get arrested before that. I had a reprimand for a common assault in town, but that was to do with, it's quite funny actually, because the girl who I got the reprimand with, I didn't even know this girl, but I saw her when I got sentenced for these robberies. She was in the prison, the kids' prison, 2 doors down. So I only got a common assault for that. But that was actually that girl in town. It actually wasn't me, but I got arrested for it because she kicked someone into the bins, but I got the blame for it and I didn't even know her. She just come out of nowhere.
How old were you?
When I got the reprimand?
Yeah.
I think it was only a few months before that happened.
What age were you though when you got prison?
I was 16.
What you were thinking then? Do you think you were untouchable at a certain
But
point?
to be honest, I didn't think I was going to jail because I thought my mum was a policewoman. I thought I'm not going to jail. That did not cross my mind whatsoever. So when I got sentenced for 33 months, I literally looked at my dad, looked at my mum, and I went like this. I nearly fainted. I was crying honestly, I was crying all the way there. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Did you take it through a trial or did you plead guilty?
I pleaded guilty. Well, to be honest, I thought my mum said you should have spoke to me because I told them everything in the police station already because I didn't know how anything worked because I'd never been put in that situation before because I'd never lived that life, if you know what I mean. So I think everyone spoke about it, to be honest, because we're all clueless because we're all young and clueless. So
you spoke yourself into a prison sentence?
yeah, basically, yeah.
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 So you didn't know, mum not telling you, no comment, nothing like that?
No, I didn't want to ring her because I didn't know what she was going to say, to be honest.
So you pled guilty, so did they offer you a deal before you went to prison?
I didn't get any deal. I just got 33 months.
What was your lawyer saying?
Well, he said I was going to get a custodial sentence or suspended, but obviously I had my mind on suspended because I thought I was untouchable and I thought, oh, I ain't going to jail for this.
Yeah, but possibly as well could have been, hopefully she bucks up her ideas, lesson learnt, but you ended up back.
I thought that was a bit harsh, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's harsh, but then again, you're still robbing people as well, and it's not just once, it's twice. And how far does it go? You know,
Yeah.
before it's killing people, before it's doing other stuff, because that's only the start of.
But then I think it made me worse going to jail to throw me in with people that I haven't really been brought up a lot about. Do you know what I mean? So I think that just made me a bit worse, to be honest, because then when I got out, I did something else within 7 months.
Yeah, prisons, a majority of people reoffend,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it's all they know then. And like you say, you're living up to a reputation. So if
Yeah.
you don't do it anymore, then you start losing, are they losing respect for me? So you start doing more daft shit.
Yeah.
And the majority of people in prison is fueled with drinking drugs. There's a lot of broken people coming from the broken home, coming from not feeling worthy. They're just doing bad shit to them.
But then obviously being in jail, it made me feel like all these people are coming from broken homes and whatever, and then I've just done this and I've got everything I could ever have. I've had the best support I could have ever had, and then I've still ended up in here. I was just like, I'm not right.
Where did you end up? The YOs?
Now, when I first at jail, I was 16 years old, it was 12 to 17-year-olds. So there was lads there as well.
So like homes?
Yeah, it's like, it was a strange place. When I walked in there, it was like, obviously you went straight to the doctor and they do all your meds and whatever. Obviously at this point I didn't have any meds because no one knew the undergoing issues that I had.
What meds were you on?
No, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't on any then. Because obviously I'd undergoing mental health that I didn't know. Because I didn't get diagnosed with nothing till I was 28. 28 years too late. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, when you walk in there, it's just like a park, basically. And it's basically like a massive flat. So when you go into the unit, it's just a door. You've got 2 doors. You've got like a kitchen area, dining area, and then another 3 doors. And you've got an office in between. But you could see the lads in between as well, which is quite good. Just to talk to the lads. Because obviously I had a little boyfriend in there called Luke. So that was all right. But then I was next door, 2 doors down from the youngest double murderer in Britain as well, Lorraine Thorpe. And she was an interesting character as well.
What was she like?
Wow. She was like, she's got a weird figure. She's got like really short arms, but she was like really athletic, but she had ADHD. But she used to sit crying to her father song, Dancing with My Father Again, on the floor every night with his photos. But she told me that she didn't do it. But then obviously she told the chaplain that she did do it. So obviously the chaplain stood up at court against her, and then obviously she got sentenced for it. But meeting her personally, she had the nicest teeth I've ever seen. She could do a word search on a Friday afternoon, like bum, 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 bum. I never had any issues with her, but she's a bit mad. I used to get her to crawl around the floor like a dog, and they used to put bowls down for her and that. She just used to love stuff like that. She was just mad. But she was harmless to me. I used to spend a lot of time with her, to be honest.
Well,
So certain smells of perfume that I spray, and I think that smells like the rainfall. I know it's weird, isn't it? It's like certain smells.
Killing her dad?
She killed her dad, and so basically there was a woman as well. They're all street drinkers, but she was let down by social services, basically. So she should run away from her children's homes, but where was her mum at this point? So she used to look after her dad on the streets because he was an alcoholic. She was 14 years old, so she's hanging around with all the street drinkers. Then they met this other woman, And obviously I think the woman, and then she met this other man who was like 41. What's a 41 doing hanging around with a 14-year-old anyway? But he ended up killing himself in jail because obviously he couldn't cope with what he'd done. So basically, her dad and this man captured this woman, cheese grated her face, put fags out on her, tortured her all weekend, even got a fan, took the cover off, put that to her face as well, just beat her up for the whole weekend. And then she died. And because her dad was going to obviously tell the authorities what had happened, they put a pillow over his face, suffocated him, but then they only chucked it out the flat window. So obviously when the police come round to obviously do their investigations, they just found the pillow out the window with his saliva on. So yeah, then she ended up getting 14 years. And I'm thinking, that's nothing, is it really?
How old was she?
When she got sentenced, she was 15.
You were friends with her?
Yeah, she was all right. She was on my unit though. There's only a few people to talk to on there.
But you kind of say, I've interviewed enough criminals and people who've done bad stuff, like mass murderers and serial killers, and a lot of people who end up in prison, they actually forget what the cellmate's done or who they're living next to has done, because they just, whatever they've done it for, whatever fucking reasons.
Unless you're a pedophile, nobody cares.
Yeah, enough.
Do you know what I mean? But it's like the woman that worked there, Pat Wilson, because obviously you had to call the staff by their names, not obviously sir or miss. This woman absolutely loved her. She used to bring her clothes in. She said she was going to visit her to the end of her sentence, and she loved her. She used to give her hugs on the sofa and everything. This woman, Pat, used to love Lorraine. But she was all right. She just needed guidance. But then it's just, I don't know. I didn't really think too much about what she'd done to her dad and that, to be honest. I just used to go in a room because she had OCD and tip all her stuff upside down because she used to hate that. So that was my little terror to her.
Did she ever speak about it?
She always admitted to what she did to the woman, and she'd quite happily sit there and say, yeah, I did cheese grate her face and put fags out on her and kick her in the head. She used to brag about that, but she'd never admit to killing her dad. But obviously her downfall was telling the chaplain. She thought she was in a house of God, basically, and she thought she could tell the chaplain everything, but that was her downfall. And then she wasn't even allowed to go to the funeral. But she had all the funeral photos on a wall, which I thought was a bit morbid.
So she killed her dad, but she's sitting listening to Luther Vandross cuddling his photo?
Yeah. She had all these photos on the wall of his picture with his funeral flowers and stuff like that. So it was a bit dark, that was.
I think ADHD gets too much to blame. I think there's more than that, you know? Like, there's so many labels now, but I think people really do struggle when they go down that route of taking lives.
Yeah, I don't think I could murder anybody, to be honest. Could you?
Yeah, if anybody harmed my family, there's no blinking an eye, then there's no problem.
Yeah, I suppose so. It depends on the circumstances, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think everybody's got it in them. I think everybody can, just in the right circumstances.
But I don't think I'd suffocate my dad with a pillow just because he was going to tell the authorities. I think that's a bit too much.
Well, yeah, like I say, it's just, you just don't know people's circumstances, and like I say, you don't know that young girl, but a double murder and getting 14 years, like, that's too lenient for me.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like,
double murder, definitely too lenient. I did think that, to be honest.
Who else was in with you?
We had Hatice Khan, which was the vicar's daughter. Not the vicar's daughter, sorry. She bullied the vicar's daughter to jump out of a window. So basically, she sprayed hairspray in her eyes, bullied her for months beforehand, and then just told her to jump out of a window, and she basically jumped to her death. And she got about 8 years, but I never used to get on with her in there at all. And we had a little bit of a scrap in the kitchen. I smacked her on the head with one of the kitchen, where you put the plates, what's it called? I can't think what it's called. The kitchen drainer. And smacked her on the head with that, and then I got shipped out the next day. And that's when I got shipped out to the juvenile wing at Eastwood Park, which I was really annoyed about because I was enjoying myself in that kid's jail.
That's what happens when you actually go to, like, YOs, young offenders.
Well, it's just like a mediocre between like the kids' jail and the big jail. Because at the kids' jail, you have like 4 different levels. You've got bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Like everyone starts on silver. If you get to like bronze, you've got no TV. If you get to gold, you get like more money to spend on canteen. And if you have platinum, you have an extra hour. So you have the platinums, so you get to go out with the lads on different houses, all the girls on different houses. So the juvenile wing at Eastwood Park is basically, you still have your perks like your Avon, and you get to pick your little bits of makeup out in the office on a weekend, and the officers are still dressed in blue. And it's just more lenient, really. So you can have seconds, first, fourth, fifth, sixth on all the food as well. That's probably why I put on 2 stone in there. But yeah, it was in between. So you were still in a cell, but it was just more child friendly, I'd say still.
What was the screws like?
They were all right, to be honest. I used to have a laugh with quite a few of them, to be fair. Obviously, you've got the odd horrible ones, but some of them are just sound. They just come and chill with you and sit with you. Or some of them would sneak your letters out. I had someone going to the shops for me, bringing me clothes in. If I wasn't meant to write to certain people, if I was banned, they used to put my post in the coat and just go and post them for me outside. So I used to have a couple of people on lock, yeah.
When did you start getting diagnosed with stuff? When did they start looking into your well-being and your mental health?
Oh, when I was about 28. Even in jail, they didn't, to be honest.
So not even asked?
Nah, I did a bit of counselling in jail, but I didn't like doing that because they spoke to me as if I was like, are you okay? Why do you think that? And I'm thinking, speak to me as a person, don't speak to me as if like, do you know what I mean?
What was it like coming out? Like, obviously with your visits and stuff, was it hard when people were coming to visit you? Did you understand what you'd done, or were you just kind of young, naive, daft?
I was just young and naive and just wanted to, I used to say to mum, go and get me all the, mum used to spoil me, so she used to get me whatever I wanted on the canteen. But mum always visited me, but I did used to get upset on the first few visits when I saw them. But it was more about missing them. It wasn't about the fact of what I'd done. But obviously I haven't realised the seriousness of what I've done until I've obviously got older, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I don't think many people at that age realise the seriousness of some of the stuff they've done until you...
I didn't even see it as a street robbery. I just thought it was a bit of a laugh after town, having a few drinks down the subway.
What was it like getting out?
It was all right, but then I went off the rails again a little bit. But obviously, I think that was because going to jail, I might have been traumatised. So that's obviously when I got out. My mum and dad allowed me to go back to their house. So obviously, I was on tag for like 5 months. Back in luxury, as I say. And then I just ended up just hanging around with the wrong people again. And then I ended up hanging around with more serious people that were actually like big boys in Wolverhampton then. And that was something that I couldn't get out of. So that's what I ended up going to jail for again.
Do you feel as if you've earned your stripes when you came out of sort of prison? Young girl thinking you've got a reputation. Did you feel as if you'd earned some stripes to hang around with the bigger boys and do bigger things?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. I was wearing the Nike Max trainers and everything there. I wasn't dressed like this then.
What happened then when you got out and started? How long you on tag for? 7 months?
About 5 or 6 months. Yeah, about 5 or 6 months.
And then what happens then?
No, that was it. I just started going back to my old self then. So then I started hanging around in a different area in Wolverhampton, and I started meeting different lads then on the session. So obviously I was taking cocaine then. But obviously I never took drugs before I went on my first sentence. It was only on my second sentence before that. So obviously I started taking cocaine and whatever else. And then I just got recruited on a session basically. So obviously there was a lad, he was about 35 years old. But obviously now I'm over 30, I just think he's still older than me. Like, what the hell was he doing hanging around with us? So we were just on a session. He was talking to this other lad who was the same sort of age as him. And they were like, oh, yeah, she's been to jail. He does this, he does that. And then he was like, right. He was like, oh, do you want to fancy going on a trip to Gaul? I was like, yeah, we'll go on a trip. Being the way I was, like, yeah, I'll go.
So how old were you at the time?
I was 19 then.
And he is in his 30s?
Yeah. But obviously I just thought it was cool, just having lifts in a car, driving round at the time. And then obviously that's when we got recruited on a session one day.
And what was the plans?
But there was no plans really. So the first week we went up there, it was a lad's house called Tomo. I didn't know the area or anything. And he was like, right, what we're going to do is, he was like, you're going to get 9 to 12 years if you do this. And I was like, right. So we off the door, literally I was wearing skirts, long sleeve tops, balaclavas on with little dolly shoes. I loved the right part. We could see my little hair dangling down. And then obviously the off the door going, please, 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 stay where you are. The door literally come off the hinges. We ran up there, 2 people were in bed. And then he was like, right, we're staying here now. So obviously we stayed in this place. It was like, I think they were like selling snack or something. And then on the evening, the lads were like, right, we're going to go to these girls' houses. And they were like, you come in. And I was like, nah, I'll stay here. So obviously they said to the people's house, it was, you two stay in the bedroom. You can use the toilet. Don't go in the living room. Don't go in the kitchen because Anastasia has the living room and the kitchen. And I was thinking, right, okay. So they went off and did what they got to do. They come back. They were showing me videos of them all having different girls going down on them. They all had tissue in their bum cheeks. It was horrific, to be honest. And then we all went to sleep in the living room. I was on the one sofa. 2 of them were on the floor. 1 of them was on the other sofa. Next thing you know, in the morning, bang, bang, bang. The police have come running up the stairs through the other door, back door. And she said, please stay with us. So they already got us all together in a drugs raid. So the raiding the house we're staying at now. And then I'm in the bloody bedroom with this smackhead woman having to just squat in front of the police while the lads are in the kitchen. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what I've got myself into here. So then obviously they've got all of our names together. Obviously the occupants haven't said what we're there for. So then we've left there. Then on the night, the oldest one, the 35-year-old's right, he's like, right, we're going to a next house now. But it's like I couldn't really turn around and say no either. Because obviously the drugs have worn off at this point. They've got no drinks left, got no money on me or nothing. So we've drove out to a house in the middle of nowhere. And then basically we've just done the same again, off the door. But this was actually quite sad, to be honest, because there's actually 2 women that were in there, but he didn't alliterate that to any of us. So it's 2 women in there. They ran in with tasers and everything. Stole all the drugs. Literally in the witness statement, they just said that I just went like this and just turned on a light switch. That is basically all I did, and I still got slammed with them. Then from that house, we went to another house, did the same thing. Obviously, we've got a lot more from there. It's probably still buried in a ditch somewhere in Goole, unless the older one hasn't gone back for it, because obviously he knew the area because he had kids up there or something. So obviously, wherever all that money and drugs is buried now, he's benefit off it. We haven't, if you know what I mean.
So the third house you done, what were you dressed as?
I said I'd be skirting my top on, didn't I? My tights, my dolly shoes with balaclava on.
So what you doing going to the door with ballies on?
Yeah, just beating off the door saying, please stay where you are.
And then
obviously that freezes them then if you say that.
Is it just drug houses?
Yeah, only drug houses.
Just taking their gear?
Yeah, and the money.
What did they get in the third house?
Oh, loads of stuff. Bricks, big massive bricks like that.
Kilos?
Yeah, kilos, money, anything that was valuable would be taken as well. But then we got lost. We went back past the house again, but they took obviously all the PlayStations and that. It wasn't just the drugs and the money, basically the house just got ransacked. So as I went back past the house, they took the number plate and I was like, they've took the number plate now, and that was it. It's the next thing you know, there was helicopters, basically feds on the ground, helicopters on top. And I hid under a car, but obviously you ain't going to hide from no helicopter, are you? I got dragged out and they were like, police with tasers. And then if you know you're getting arrested with your arms behind your back of the van, you know, you're doomed. And then that was it then. Then I was remanded and then I ended up in H&P Newhall. And that was just the next level jail, that was. I couldn't believe it. So I went there thinking I was going to have all this money from the drugs raid and whatever. It turns out I only had a pair of pants. So I had to walk on the whip ring with a pair of French knickers. And a plastic knife, spoon and fork, and that was it.
So what did you get? What was your sentence?
I got 5 years for that. But obviously I went guilty on the trial day because I was going to go not guilty. But because they had us all together in the police raid the day before, obviously they've got all our names together. So I went guilty on the day. I thought there's no way. But actually all of us went guilty apart from the older one who was 35 because obviously he thought he was just cleverer than anybody else. And he ended up getting 11 years. So I'm glad I went guilty on the trial day because I would have got slammed with 11.
Could you not have thought that though and says you were groomed or says you were kind of manipulated to do it?
I could have said that, but I didn't think of that at the time, to be honest, because I just thought that they were my friends.
What was a copper saying in the interview? Were they just questioning you as one of them?
Yeah, I was. To be honest, yeah. Literally for the whole interview, I just had my head down to the table. I didn't even speak to him at all. I didn't even say my name. To be honest, I was too tired after all that bloody carry on.
So did you get charged with 3 robberies this time?
It was aggravated burglary.
5 years is okay, man.
Aggravated burglary, yeah.
You didn't get any of the 9.
I know. I'm glad I went guilty on the trial day, to be honest.
Did you make a deal this time?
No. Just went guilty on the trial day.
What jail did you go into?
H&P Newhall.
What was that like?
Oh, it was very weird. When I walked on the wing, there was this she, and I've...
Transgender?
Do you know what? When I have to say the name, and obviously if he or she, sorry, you know I love you, it was called Man. That was the name of this woman. But it was just like, oh God, I'll show you a picture after. It was just like a bloke, hairy legs, beard. I was just like, when I walked on the wing, I was just like, what the hell is this place? Do you know what I mean? Everyone there looked more like creatures. I just couldn't believe it. I just thought, oh my God. I just couldn't believe it. And then the name was Yemen as well. But then her ID photo, she had hair, like long hair. And I was just thinking, so people actually get the change in jail, don't they? I couldn't believe it. It was just horrendous. It was horrendous in there. It was just full of prostitutes. I'd say prostitutes, tramps, and girls that look like men. And I'd say 90% look like men. So if there's any men out there that are writing to women in jail, you ain't. They look like blokes.
I don't think any one trans should be in prison.
Actually, there was actually a man with a penis that was in Newhall because he was sleeping with this other girl and he actually had a penis and he was in Newhall. And I don't know how he got away with that.
Some of them end up getting pregnant.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a guy in Scotland who's charged with 2 rapes, but yet identified as a woman, and then they put him in a women's prison. Like, it's a fucking joke. You know what I'm saying? You're a man, you're in a man's prison, no matter what the fuck you want to identify as. I don't care a fuck, be who you want to be, but there's got to be some laws and regulations, you know, for people to be protected, because you can't be cutting about in a female prison with a beard.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Fuck's sake, it's weird. The times are weird. You know what I'm saying, man? You get out of prison, you think, fuck's happening in here?
So in this chat, we're seeing that.
So what was it like then, back in? Did you accept that as your life, that what you were doing? Did you know that you were fucking up? Or were you still kind of thinking...
It's just a bit in denial still, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I knew I wouldn't do it again. Like, I've never done the same thing twice, if you know what I mean. But then I just thought, like, when I got out, I just had to change then. I just had to change my life around.
Who were you in prison with this time? Adult prison's different. It's probably
I'd say Newhall
safer than YOs.
Yeah, Newhall, I'd say, was the nicest one. Do you know what? I like Northern people. I think they're the nicest people around because they were so lovely in this jail. So I got really close to a girl called Katie Hull, and she'd been in there. I think she stabbed one of her mates. I used to get on with her really well. My friend Nardine as well. I've been with her for a lot of jails. She stabbed a couple of people as well. But obviously that Katie Hull, she was older. She was like 36. So I used to, when we got to the enhanced wing, I used to sneak into a room because it was only like a roll check thing. So you used to get checked in at 9 o'clock. So I used to sneak out to a room, we used to watch films, we used to watch Train Spotting, and that's when she taught me about hard drugs and obviously stuff like that, because I didn't have a clue. I was watching people smoke off foil and that, and I didn't have a clue what it was. I was thinking, oh, what's that? I'm glad I didn't say, can I have a bit? I didn't have a clue, but yeah. Then I went to Drake Hall, and in Drake Hall, that's where I met, do you know, the Lost Prophet singer?
No.
Ian Watkins. He's basically got like 40 years. He's basically in a rock band. He got 40 years for basically raping his fans' kids. And I was with Woman A, Michelle, if you ever read about it, and she was on reception of Drake Hall. So obviously I started talking to her thinking she was all right, and everyone was like, no, don't get talking to her, she's wrong. And then obviously I found out she was one of the Lost Prophet singer's fans, and she gave her kids to him to rape, basically. So yeah, I used to walk past the room all the time singing the Lost Prophet songs, but I didn't really like the fact of sharing a toilet and a shower with someone who's done something like that, so I got moved in the end. I threw my dummy out the pram and got moved onto a different house because that's just disgusting, innit? How can you do that to your own kid?
Is that not the guy get killed in prison?
Yeah, he got killed in prison, yeah. Got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Well done to the person who did it.
Yeah,
or the 2 lads who did it, yeah.
So what was her part? She was given...
Yeah, she was giving her kids to him to rape, and obviously she was sexually assaulting him herself and sending him images and videos and whatever else. Disgusting.
Why is she in with yous?
That's what I'm saying. I don't get that either. But obviously on this house, because there's no room on the other houses, she was on a house where the prison officers had an office on there. So obviously she could be watched all the time, if you know what I mean. So she was just constantly watched. She was constantly chauffeured around, etc., etc. It's like Rose West, I saw her as well. Saw her in jail. I spat on her, actually, and all done the thing. I dribbled on her.
What was she like?
Rose West. She just got chauffeured around as well, but she was quite rude, but no one would speak to her. But she had about 5 people walking around with her. But yeah, she's not a nice person, I heard. The way she used to speak to the officers as well. But then again, she used to get special treatment. I used to think, just feed us to the lions. Because obviously the women are actually looked after that do them sort of crimes. Then obviously men in men's jails, because men get dealt with, women don't.
I wouldn't even say men get dealt with. They're in their special wings as well. They're all recruiting each other. They're all put in a fucking special unit, and they're all protected to change their names. These cunts are the most protected in the whole
I know. They'll get
Neil and
they'll get out and they'll get a new identity and then
yeah,
new house somewhere else.
because I've spoke to people who used to be in Grendon. Grendon's full of them, but a lot of people who were Cat A went to Grendon to try and work down and try and get a lighter sentence, and they used to all have to sit round a table and stuff with them. Like, it's fucking mad. Like, that would drive you insane. That would make you want to commit more crime.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, in America, I think they just get put next to each other.
I know, yeah.
Get took
We
out.
need to be like America. Either castrate them or sort them out.
They're doing that in America. I think they're saying they're going to start doing that here. So you're in the adult prison.
Yeah.
Were you partying in there? Were you taking drugs?
No, do you know what? I actually wasn't. I did make some hooch though, but I did enjoy the hooch. The hooch was good. But then one time I did get caught with it and then I ended up losing my TV and sat in front of the governor. So the governor pulled me in front of her and said, "What's this, Anastasia?" I said, "It's apple juice." She's like, "It's not apple juice, it's fermenting." I was like, "Oh." I just took it, but I still got a TV back later. I just got one of the nitties to give me one of those.
What sort of stuff were you seeing in prison?
Self-harming was a big one because obviously you got the pipe at the bottom. People would just be tying the necks round it. But then it was just annoying because I used to think people are just attention seeking because at the end of the day, just put them on the health wing. Like, because he used to do it every night and keep you up, or you just have mad people that would be banging the doors, just shit, feeting everywhere. Is another word.
Shitting all over the wall?
Yeah, shitting all over the wall, whatever. People self-harming.
Yeah, there's no point in trying to cover your...
People just chucking dirty tampons in the toilets and the bath. I've seen I thought, oh, well, not, I'm going to have a bath. So I went in there, I thought, because I'll clean it out anyway, and there's just covered in crap. Like, you should, the state of some women in there and the stenches as you walk past the cells as the doors open is disgusting. And that's what I mean, mental health's not recognised in jails either, because obviously, clearly, they've got issues. You've got people that have got orange peel dangling from the cells because they think it's an air freshener and stuff like that. It's just mental. Smoking dried up banana peels as well. I did try that one. I don't recommend it.
Why did you never try smack? It might seem like a weird question, but if you start dabbling in coke in prisons, you spend just enough time around it, you end up then smoking it as well, you know?
Because I like my teeth, and I've seen people how they end up looking, and it just never appealed to me to do anything like that. But then I think it was also the influence of Katie Hall from another jail, who just said no. But then I've never really, I've watched too many films. I've learned too many things about that. No, thank you.
What's the worst thing you've seen in prison?
Probably someone having the hot water and salt chucked in the face. And also there was this woman called Debbie Hogg, rest in peace to her. She slit her own throat. She took that much spice. She slit her own throat on the wing. And literally, because I was opposite her, I actually saw it happen. And then obviously we had a little funeral for her at the chapel. I never really knew her as a person, but I just said RIP to respectfully because I had to witness that. And to be fair, I couldn't sleep for nights after that. That was horrendous. I would also... Someone give me nits at one point as well. That was probably one of the worst things. My pad might give me nits because we used to lie on the bunk together at the bottom. And she stroke each other's hair. Nothing like that on this occasion. And basically, I literally saw her hair and she had like nits at the bottom. And I was just like, I thought I was itchy. And I said to her, you've had them for ages. So obviously I started hugging everyone then on the wing. I thought, if I'm having them, you're all having them. But then obviously I sorted us all out and they were gone in the day. But I was just thinking, ugh. You don't know who to go here and there, do you?
Smelly bastards.
My mum come on a visit and she was wearing a cap. She come on a visit wearing a cap because I had nits at one point. I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Did you have a bird in there?
Oh, we had a couple, yeah. They all used to argue over me as well, to be honest. It's
Did
quite
they fight over you?
We used to get little letters and that as well. But yeah, we had a couple in there, yeah.
What don't like some of these girls in there are butch as fuck. To
be honest,
I know some of them personally. I've had them on the show, but like some of them are proper manly.
Yeah, they are. But it's just like, why would you get with a man looking one? Wouldn't you just get with a girly girl looking one? But obviously, I did start with the boyish looking one because obviously the boyish looking ones, you don't have to do anything to them. Then it's just an easy job. They do stuff to you, and that's it. It's like Nia. Me and Nia actually were going out with two sisters. So I went out with one sister, and she went out with the other. So that was funny.
Were you bi before you went in, or were you a lesbian?
I'm a bit bisexual anyway, to be honest. But
prison will enhance that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
especially women's prison. Mm-hmm. But men talk about men gay. For me, you're either fucking gay or not.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Jane.
Women are touchy-feely anyway. Like, I've done stuff with girls before. I went to jail, so you just enhanced it a bit. And it's boredom at the end of the day, isn't it? We even made this tool before out of a pen, right? We've got a pen. Wrapped it round in tissue, put a plastic bag on it. Obviously, the girl used it on me, and then it got passed around the whole wing, so everyone else was having like, was having the sloppy seconds on this thing that we'd made. I was just like, oh, I was just thinking you lot are gross.
Yeah, that's filthy.
Sorry, Mum. Sorry, Mum.
Wonder you end up fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised you never get more. So what did you do? Like made a dildo in prison and everybody was passing it around?
Yeah. I was just thinking you've all got my
Sick
slot.
bastards. He's all deserved to be in prison if I'm honest.
It was a good invention for me the first time, not for you lot.
How did you survive then? Obviously, we're doing all that mad shit. Like, how does the mind not completely go where you've actually stay out? You know, because it's seeing that shit and being involved in that, it's hard to then overcome that.
The thing is, because I think I've got personality disorder, I just feel like I can just be one person and just be another. So if I want to change, I'll change. But at the time, I wasn't ready to change because I was too involved in that situation. But to be fair, it was my mum moving me away to a different town. Obviously, that just changed my life because where I live now, it's a lot quieter with the harmless people around there, basically. It's not like the city, is it? I live in a town now. So it's just like you either want to change or you don't. But yeah, I've got to change for my mum as well because obviously she's got secondary cancer and that is what I want to do.
What other sort of people were you on with? The female prison?
A lot of gangs from London were in like Drake Hall. I'd just say it was just loads of nitties really and just trampy people. But obviously you got the youngest double murderer. There wasn't that many big names in there apart from like Rose West, obviously Lorraine Thorpe. There were just more nitties, basically.
Yeah, you tend to see that in a women's prison. A lot of the biggest serial killers and that are male.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A lot of suicides, a lot of deaths.
Not really. Apart from that Debbie Hogg, I haven't really seen anyone else. Apart from I'd say the kids' jail's worse for more self-harming. And especially with girls as well. Girls are a nightmare in there. The lads are more chilled, so I used to like it on a weekend because I used to go and visit them on a weekend. So you'd have you could take it in turns to visit each other's unit. So I used to go on the lads' unit. I used to think stuff you like, I'm going to hang around with them instead.
What about the prison officers? Because you see now a lot of the female prison officers going into cells and doing things with the male prisoners.
Oh, there was one weird man actually when I was in Rainsbrook Secure Centre, and he used to come in my room actually and sit on the pipe and he used to stroke my hair while I was in bed, and I used to think this is a bit weird. But obviously nothing else ever happened. But then there was this other man who used to work on Leadwell, which was the enhanced unit. And he used to get really friendly with me and this other girl. But then when I got out, I found out he was actually sending naked photos to her. And then he ended up getting obviously arrested and sacked for it. But you can just tell which ones are a bit dodgy with you.
Yeah,
But then you can either use it to your advantage or take it too far. But I'm not the sort of person that would take it too far. I'll just use it to my advantage and then be like, right, maybe somewhere else now.
Yeah, no, I had a prison officer on a few weeks ago, and a lot of people do get manipulated, male and female prison officers.
Oh, really?
To end up bringing in gear, to end up doing mad shit. You know, I think the women's prison would be more like that. Like, the manipulation would be fucking through the roof.
Yeah, you don't have that many men though. Like the women officers that work there are more like butch lesbians that are there. You don't actually see a lot of men officers, I don't think. It's more women officers that are there.
Are they having affairs?
From my experience, from when I was there anyway.
Are they having affairs? The female prison officers?
Well, the gym orderly was having an affair with the gym instructor. But obviously that was a woman. So it was like a lesbian affair. But it was just blatantly obvious for everybody to see. But obviously the girl she's having an affair with wasn't actually gay either. I think she's in there for stabbing a boyfriend, I think. Actually, yeah, most women are in there for stabbings, to be honest. Yeah.
Do you see that a lot of female prisoners, have they got male relationships outside, but yet gay inside?
Yeah. A lot of females are like that. Me guilty.
So how long did you end up doing out the 5?
2.5.
How was it?
To be honest, it went quite quick. I enjoyed my time at Newhall. I know I shouldn't say enjoyed my time, but I preferred my time there. Drake Hall was just because there was too much time out. There was too much going on, too much bitchiness, to be honest. And I just hated the waste management because all I did all day was sit there, CD case, open the CD case, put the CD cover in a box, put the CD in a box, put the CD case in a box. And I did that all day. And literally, that was so mind numbing. And I did the same sort of thing when I was in Eastwood Park, actually. It was called Workshop 5. And all I had to do for 8 hours a day for 6 months was sit there, counting gloves out of a box, putting them in plastic bags. And that was it. And literally, I just ended up losing my shit one day. So when I got put in hairdressing, because I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. Honestly, I would have lost my marbles.
I think you'd already lost your marbles.
Tell me something I don't know.
What was the plans before you were getting out? Were you coming out to change your life? Were you coming out to do better, or were you going straight back to the mad stuff?
Well, I passed my hairdressing qualification at obviously the final time I was in jail. So when I got out, my mum had moved me to a fresh town, and then I started hairdressing as soon as I got out, and everything was kosher.
What was it like getting out?
It's just like a different world. It's just like you've never been there. It's just like a big dream, if you know what I mean. It's like 1 minute you're in jail, next minute you're in the car with your mum, chilling, listening to tunes, getting a Mackies on the way home. It's just mad. It's just a different world. I'll never forget it though. Like I still feel like it haunts me to this day. Like as everyone who knows me, I'll constantly talk about jail because once you've been, especially I think at a young age, you can never forget that. And I feel like sometimes I still have a little bit of trauma from it, especially being so young, being taken away from my mum when I was mummy cuddled. That was probably the worst thing ever, to be honest, for me.
So what have you been diagnosed with?
I've got diagnosed with severe ADHD, bipolar, personality disorder, and mild autism. But obviously, that does make me a little bit clever too, I like to say.
So what's see when you get diagnosed with all that shit? Is that a relief to find out what's wrong with you? I just think everybody just labels constantly now. I think it's just all fucking bollocks.
Yeah, but I think, to be fair, I don't like it how everyone's got ADHD all of a sudden because I don't think you've got ADHD unless you've been in trouble with the police. If you haven't been in trouble with the police, I don't care. You haven't got ADHD because ADHD people are naughty people, generally.
So what about the bipolar stuff then?
I could have switched, if you know what I mean. So if I get really upset about something in my life, I can just get really angry or be really emotional, or you just take so much to just trigger me, and then that's it. I'll be off on one for a few months.
A few months?
Yeah, but obviously I've got medicated for that now, so I've calmed down a little bit because obviously I went through a bit of. I can't really talk about it because I'm going through a family court case at the moment, and I've been told I can't speak about it. But things that have happened, it shouldn't have happened because I've been treated different to obviously my kid's dad when he's basically made the same mistake I have, if you know what I mean.
What sort of medication are you taking?
A quetiapine, which I'm on. I was on 200 milligrams of quetiapine at night and 100 in the morning, but now I've gone down to 25 in the morning and then 50 at night. And then I'm on Alvance, which is the highest you can get, which is 70 milligrams. But it does calm me down, but the quetiapines just make you eat. Like I literally, as soon as I've taken that, I eat the whole house down. My food bill's going from like that to that.
So when you say calms you down, if you don't take that stuff, where are you at?
Oh, I'll probably just go on a mad one. I just don't care about anything or anyone, to be honest. And if anyone annoys me, I wouldn't think twice about giving you a scrap, basically.
Do you think you could kill someone?
Depending on the situation, yeah, especially if it was to do with my family or my son. Or if someone really upset me, probably, yeah.
Do you see yourself? Do you think you've got issues, or do you think you're okay? You're sweet. You'll be sound?
I think I'm stable at the moment. Well, I have been for a while now, to be honest. So I'm all right now. But it just depends. Anything can happen in life. It only takes one situation, doesn't it? One problem, one situation. Could be a death, could be a loss that could trigger you again. So I just stay hopeful that I will stay fine.
Does that scare you though?
Sometimes. Because obviously my mum's got secondary cancer, so she's on her last medication at the moment. So I'm like trying to prepare myself for the worst to happen, because with me, I don't know how that'll make me react. Either I'll deal with it all right for a bit, for a few months, and then I could just randomly just go off on one. Or so it's just like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it yet.
Or would you think that gives you an excuse then to cause mayhem?
Not an excuse.
Because even though you know all this shit, I don't think you're as daft as what your possibly past has led you to believe, you know. I think you
I'm
understand
not.
what you're doing. I think you're very switched on, where I think you know how to play the game.
Do you think so?
1,000,000%.
Oh, I'll take that as a compliment then.
Yeah, you should. But again, I think you're in control, but there's something obviously that triggers you, and you
Yeah.
just for
It's like I wouldn't be able to get as far as I do in life if I wasn't had a bit of intellect about me. Do you know what I mean?
complete fucking idiot. You're not.
Yeah. I'm not a complete fucking idiot, as you said.
But you know what I mean? Like,
But it'll just take something to trigger. Like, I'd never go back to my previous things. Like, I'd never do robberies or aggravated burglaries. That is just completely not the sort of person that I am. And I do have big regrets for that because it's just puts a downer on your character. Like, I have to live with that as part of my character now for the rest of my life when I'm not that person. But the only sort of thing that is in the character that I am now is if someone was to upset me, how will I react to that? And that is the only issue that is always in the back of my mind. That's the only one I can say. I wouldn't do anything intentional, but it's just to do with my mental health. If someone was to trigger me again, I don't know.
but we're always going to be triggered. There's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be bad shit happens. There's always going to be people pissing us off, you know. What does like coppers and that say, or social works, like how do they treat you? Are you done with them, or do they not even speak to you anymore?
Who?
Like the social works and stuff. Do you have people around you to
No, I've
talk
never.
to?
I don't have one. Don't have one. To be honest, I've even asked for like a mental health doctor because I feel like I do need someone to talk to sometimes. They're not interested. They're not interested. It's just like I'm telling you how I feel or what could trigger me again, and you're not helping me about like you're not helping me with these issues. So if something was to arise where I do something, I've come to you already for your help. So why haven't you helped stabilise me emotionally? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got a friend, Kenny, his son is cerebral palsy, is it? And they gave
Yeah.
him tablets, but on the tablets it says that you can go, your mind can go, it's like 1/3 becomes psychosis.
Oh yeah.
They ended up killing someone, the kid, and
Bloody hell.
but he's not sticking up for his son, but he was trying to warn people that he shouldn't be out, and he ended up fucking killing someone, you know. So some of these, it's mad because a lot of the tablets that they give you makes you go worse. It might numb the brain at the start, but then it goes. Like, a lot of people do reach out for help and they don't give them the help. Then they do bad shit
Exactly.
and they go, "Told you so."
And then they look like the bad ones then.
Yeah. Does that scare you?
I think I'm alright at the moment. I don't know what else could really trigger me again, to be honest. Apart from obviously my son's situation. But it is what it is at the moment. It is what it is.
So your triggers. When was the last time you were triggered properly?
Last year, but that was just regarding contact with my son, but obviously I can't get into that at the moment.
Was that the thing that was in the papers?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Have you been charged or anything?
I did get charged, but I just got probation for that. Just for 6 months, so I've done it now, so it's over. So yeah, I'm just going back through the courts again now just to get my contact back, because obviously it was just caused by my lack of contact anyway.
But do you think you can be your worst own enemy as well? But
Yeah,
you do that stuff.
yeah, definitely. I
You
shouldn't.
can't put ammunition to then go, "Told you she's a psycho."
Yeah, but then that was last year, and in the past year, I've just completely changed my life around again. So now everyone's like, she's gone from that to back on top again, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm like that shit in the toilet when you flush it. I just keep floating back to the top.
But you don't want to keep being that person to then hit rock bottom and then everybody turning on you to then go, "Oh, she's changed her life again."
That's what I mean, but I feel like because I've been through the worst situation I can now. I know I went to jail when I was younger, but because I've gone through this situation with my son now, obviously I did something that just for the anger of the no contact with my son, but because I've been put through this with no contact, I don't think I'd ever do anything like that again, because I know what it feels like now to lose a part of me. Do you know what I mean? Like before it was only me, but now I'm not just thinking about myself, I'm thinking about my son as well. And I'd never, ever, ever want to put myself in that situation again unless someone actually did something to my son. Then it would be a completely different story.
Yeah. But it's difficult because, like I said, I went through the family courts nearly 2 years and understand the stresses and anxiety that comes. But a lot of people try and push you to that to break.
Yeah, and I feel that's what, yeah.
So they can set the traps and you jump right in.
Yeah.
You know, because of your past and your history as well, you're an easy target.
Exactly.
Well, I would think you'd be an easy target to trigger you easy. And if your family's everything to you, then you can easily trigger you. to get that fucking psycho out and go, look, video, yes, I told you.
Exactly.
And then you've not got a leg to stand on, because they have still got a duty of care for kids, but
Yeah.
kids need their dad no matter what. Kids need their mum no matter what. But
Exactly.
when you've got history, it's difficult. Like,
Yeah.
get history, so
That's what I mean. You always get tarnished.
yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say. The person that I was is not the person that I am now. Do you know what I mean? And that's what people need to see.
But that takes time, because only last year you were in the papers again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's difficult. Like, everything's consistency. You don't need to prove everybody that you've changed. You just need to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And and everything you've came through.
I think I changed overnight.
But again, you're fucking borderline schizo, bipolar, fucking, you've got all the traits of a madman.
Yeah, I did that yesterday, but I'm all right today.
How is life now then? Like, does that scare you? Like, how?
I just have to be kept busy. If I don't work, the thing is with me, if I work, I'm more like, oh, tooty again. If I don't work, I end up back in that sort of lifestyle again. So I have to be kept busy, because if I'm not kept busy, I just get bored. And I don't know how people sit at home doing nothing all day. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I didn't go mad, literally. It's like the last job I worked at, that was just as bad, to be honest. I was working 8:30 till 6. No one was there half the time. I had no radio. There was no heating. I had to wear earmuffs to work. Literally, I think I just walked around in circles all day. I was like just doing lunges and that, walking around the bloody building, because I can't cope not doing anything, because my mind is just so active. I just keep myself busy. But at the moment, obviously, if I'm not working, I'm making my son stuff. I've started like recycling boxes and making my son loads of crafted stuff that I do for him, because I make him loads of displays. Because obviously at the moment I can't see him, but obviously he goes to my mum's house, so he likes to see that. Like, I've done a lot of good inventions that he likes. So his dad has a lot of crap in his house when he takes it home.
What's your daily routine like now?
Just work. And then if I'm not at work, I just like to spend time with my mum, because obviously we don't know how long she's got left. So I just like to spend the most with her now. I don't really bother with friends. Now I'm starting to do better again. I see all these friends creeping from under the woodwork, and do you know what? They can all do one, because they weren't there for me at my lowest points, and they're not going to be there for me. Now I'm back to normal. Well, normal as I can be, as I say. So
When was the last time you cried?
I cry quite often, actually. I probably cry weekly, to be honest, because I am quite an emotional person, and I feel like I do have to have a good cry, because if I don't cry, that is another build up for me, where I could just explode at any minute. So I do like a good cry. Listen to a bit of Depeche Mode, because that's what my dad plays, and that soothes me, to be honest. Not a lot of people my age would listen to that, but I love my 80s and stuff like that. So I'll just put my earphones in at home and just self-soothe myself, and then I'll take my tablet and go to sleep. It's just like, I have to self-soothe myself with music, to be fair.
When did you start self-harming?
Only since my son's situation. But obviously when I was younger, when I used to get angry, I used to punch myself in the head. But this was caused by, obviously, the lack of contact. I literally smashed an ashtray over my head, cut my arm. I think a couple of days after, I jumped out of a 3-story window. Literally, I woke up to the ambulance, tickling my feet. Literally, my face looked like the Elephant Man. Like, I was a mess. Like, that was, like, I feel like crying now. That was like a really low point in my life, but the only way is up now.
When was this?
Oh, God. Yeah. This has been ongoing now for a few years. But obviously, it came to the crunch last year. So I'd self-harmed and drank my soul away, I like to say. And then it wasn't until the crunch last year. But then I felt like that was an end to the chapter. It's like I felt like I had to do what I did last year to be able to put it all to a closure, because I'd self-harmed, self-medicated myself for like 2 or 3 years. I thought, right, this is it. I had to do something. But obviously I know it wasn't the best way to go around it, but honestly, it closed a chapter in my life. And since that day, obviously having the personality disorder and whatever, I was fine again. I was back to normal. I was back in a job. I was working again. It was just mad. I was literally it's just random.
No, it's mad though, because
It's just mad. As soon as I closed that chapter in my life, I was just sound again. I was back
but
to
the
normal.
brain does take us to mad places, and I mean, you're going through some shit. The best option is drink or drugs.
Yeah.
It numbs the pain in itself, so
I'd never go back to that again, ever. Like, I'd have a couple of drinks now, but I would never touch drugs again in my life. And I don't want to drink to the point where I'm not in control of myself. because I am a good person, and drugs and drink, obviously, in the past, they're the evil that let me down, and I don't want to be in that mess or situation again, to be honest.
Could you be even drinking though, do you think?
I have a couple. But yeah, I have a couple.
Just in case, mixed with the tablets, then boom, you're fucking jumping out 3-story window again. You know?
I know what you mean.
Like, I don't drink for that sole purpose, because if I was to drink through the last 2 years, I reckon I would have done some cunt.
Yeah, I have a couple, but I only have a couple if I'm having something to eat. If I'm not having something to eat, then I don't drink.
Yeah, you just need to be careful with
Yeah,
that, you know,
definitely.
because it's
Because it could just set you off again.
yeah.
Because if you've got it in you, that's it.
Because once that poison's through the system, then it only takes another couple of more drinks on top of that before you're doing more things you regret.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
count your blessings that you're still here. But how did you end up jumping 3 stories out?
It's
what happened?
I just nicked a bottle of vodka. I literally hid my partner's keys, hid the house keys, hid our phones, just put them like down my top. Nicked a bottle of vodka, and then just literally just threw myself out of the window. But I've never done anything like that before. Like, I must have just got like, I feel like crying. I must have just got to the crunch, literally. So it was just a contact with my son. It just literally sent me over the edge. And like, to be fair, I'd say the past 2 or 3 years not having contact with my son was the worst I've ever behaved mentally. Because obviously I know I've always had issues with the stuff I did when I was younger, but I was fine up until this point. It's just not fair how I've been treated, to be honest. But I'll get there.
How do you think it would have been on your son and your mum if you did kill yourself that day?
To be honest, at this time, I didn't care. Because I just thought, can't see him anyway. Obviously, my mum and dad were distancing themselves at the time because of my behaviour. And literally, I just felt alone, to be honest. It was only my partner that was there for me, to be fair. So I just thought. But then it wasn't really fair on him, because obviously I did that, and then he couldn't even get out of the house because obviously I had all the keys and everything. So
I'm laughing because it is fucked up situations, and sometimes all you can do is
yeah,
fucking
do
laugh.
you know what? That is what I do.
Yeah.
Instead of getting upset now, I just have to laugh. And it's not because I'm laughing because it's funny. I'm just laughing because that's all you can do sometimes, is laughing it.
How's it been though since trying to rein it in again, trying to be better, trying to do better?
I just need to be kept busy, because if I'm not kept busy, I'm just scared of my mind taking over again, if you know what I mean. But this is what I'm trying to say to, obviously, my situation that I'm in now. I'm trying to say that if I don't have contact at all, you're not thinking about my mental health or even my son's mental health. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they'll look at it, they'll still have a duty of care for your son as well, you know?
Yeah.
Because of the actions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think there's enough help for people like yourself who really struggle bipolar and...
No, not at all. I just feel like they just took him. I'll go and see the ADHD doctor, right? And he doesn't eat. He says to me, he goes, "Oh, what medication are you on again?" And I'm thinking, you should know that, shouldn't you? And he's like scrolling, looking for it on his computer. He's like, you could ask him. Like, literally, I had to ask him to lower my medication. He'll just do it, whatever. If I rang him tomorrow and said, "Oh, can you put me up higher?" He'd be like, "Yeah, all right then." So I just feel like it's not very supportive. It's just, I don't know. Do we even have bipolar? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm starting to question myself. And it took me a while to even start taking my medication, because I couldn't believe that I was mad either. Well, not mad as such, but I didn't think I needed medication.
But they get paid for every prescription they give out.
Yeah.
They give a fuck.
Exactly. But I don't feel like he cares, to be fair. But it's like I've always asked for extra help as well, and I don't get it. It's just like, you've got to do something serious to get help, because it's like now, after last year's incident, I've got help with, I think I've been working with Willowdene Rehabilitation Centre for my emotional regulation. But that was just a load of crap as well, to be honest. Like, she just said, "Oh, so how have you been feeling today? Has there been any situations that are going to make it?" It's just like, no. Or it's just like, you've got to do a chart, 1 to 10, how you feel now. And it's just like, I don't think things like that work. It might work for other people, but it doesn't for me. It's like, I work with Disruption Recovery as well. And I don't think that worked. They tried to put me on a cocaine course, and on a Friday afternoon, and I thought, bloody hell, it's going to want to make you take cocaine on a Friday afternoon. So I ended up stopping that. And I just basically just did everything on my own without any help. Because if you want to change, you'll change. That's what I think about. That's what I think. And the thing is, because I've got a supportive network as well, I can do it. I know some people obviously are not fortunate to have that, and obviously need help. So I think there needs to be more help for people, because not everybody has a supportive family, do they? or people there.
What's your biggest regret?
To be honest, I would say jail, but then I'm not going to say that because it's made me the person who I am today, and it's made me a lot tougher through certain situations, if you know what I mean. I feel like, I know this sounds really sad, but obviously because my mum's at secondary cancer and she could pass away at any minute, I just feel like I've already had that heartbreak from losing my mum anyway before. So I feel like I'd be able to cope and help my dad and other people if that situation was to happen, if you know what I mean. I feel like it's just made me stronger in lost situations. Obviously, my son was just a next level one, but obviously I had to go through what I went through, the crunch last year, and now I feel like I'm all right again now. It's just, I mean, I'm never right.
So what is your mum then secondary cancer for people who don't know?
She's got stage 4 secondary cancer and she's on palliative care. So basically, she's on her last medication now, so it could turn at any time. She has checkups every 3 months. So she had one back last week, so she's stable, which is good. In 3 months' time, it could be unstable, and then she'll have 1 to 2 years to live if it does get to that stage. So I just need to not stress her out. She doesn't need any stress, and we need to get my son back in my life. So
And it will happen. Like I say, you're a mad cunt, but you're a good cunt.
yeah, I'm a good mad cunt.
Sort of
I am.
weird way. Do you know what I'm saying? I can see you're a genuine person. You can see the softness when you speak about your mum and your son. So it shows that you're not a psychopath. It shows that you have got feelings you need to have. Listen, your fella's probably sitting, she is a fucking psychopath, which is understandable as well. Listen, I feel your pain, but you can see you're a decent cunt. You know what I'm saying? And
I
it
am.
comes from a Scottish word, a good person. So
I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I'm a lovable rogue.
yeah, but you need to dig deep
Yeah.
more than ever, because we're all going to fucking die anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Your mum might probably outlive you. The way you fucking go sometimes. The way you go sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Thankfully,
100%.
this studio's only one up, so we're safe. We're safe tonight. But how do you then get through it? How do you then? Are you trying to prepare your mind for bad stuff that happens so you don't go?
But to be
schizo?
honest, you're going to laugh now. I did try and go to church for a day last year. I thought I'm going to burn down when I walk in here. I tried that because obviously I'm a Catholic, but I thought that's not for me, church. I've got a plan. I'm just going to stick to working, spend time with my mom. Don't hang around with anybody else because I don't want other people's influences on me because I'm easily influenced and I can be quite naive. So stick with my family, just work together, and hopefully the best will come. What will be, and what is destined to be will be, and that is how I think now.
What about the church thing? Why didn't you stick around?
Oh, they didn't do the bread, did they? I like the bread.
Because a lot of people, when they have a faith, I'm not religious myself, but when people believe in something, it makes them feel not alone.
But then I prayed to God before when I was younger, when Mum first had cancer.
And here?
Actually, to be fair, I suppose he's 11th of July. Yeah, I know, but it's not long enough. So then she got it again, because obviously she had cancer the first time and I prayed for her, and then she got it again, so.
Yeah, we can't blame God for that, though.
Yeah, I don't know. There is something there.
Yeah, there's definitely a higher power.
There definitely is something there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like unless you've been touched by God or whatever anybody else says they've had that touch of God, then you don't know, do you? But I've had rosy beads and all sorts, and God's never called me out.
But then again, you're still here.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of people been through less than you, and they're still not here. You've got through it. You've jumped out windows. You've been self-harming. You've took drugs. You've been in prison. You know, you're still here. So maybe there is a God. So don't shut him off.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fucking Bible basher. I'm not religious stuff. There's clearly something here. You're clearly here for a reason.
Exactly.
Shut.
Everyone's life has a path, I suppose.
And we're all dealt cards that sometimes we're uncomfortable with, but you just got to play them. So I wouldn't shut off completely because, like you say, your mum's still here, you're still here, you're still fighting.
I just want this situation to be solved before it's too late. Well, God hope it's not.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. You know, but you just got to keep pushing through.
Yeah.
What's it like for the future then? Plans for the future? Where do you see yourself?
So I'm going to be moving soon, but I'm moving out in the sticks as well. So there's like a nice woods. You can see like the wild deer in the summer. So I'm going to be moving out there. So I'm planning to do that in the new year. Stick at my job because I started a new job at the moment because I always feel a bit down on myself sometimes and I feel like I can't do things. So at the moment I'm thinking, oh, how about if I won't be able to do it? But I said this about the carpet shop and I didn't know how to do plans or square meters and now I'm just like a genius at that. So I'm sure I'll be fine. So obviously I'm going to stick at that. Obviously you get good commission there. So hoping to get a good car, show off, got my Rolex on that my mum gave me. And then hopefully work towards getting my son back. And hopefully my mum gets to see that as well. That's all I hope for.
Yeah, well,
Is money, wealth and health. Is that what I'm
happiness.
saying? Yeah, yeah.
What about the men who you robbed back in the day? What would you say if they were watching?
I can actually remember one of their names, to be honest. I would just say that I was stupid, naive, and I apologise. Because, to be honest, I hate talking about the first one I went to jail for because I really think it's a really scumbaggy thing to do. Like, there's just no excuses for it, is there? To be fair, that's the only one I didn't really want to talk about when I come in here, but I thought if I'm talking about it, I'm talking about it all. But yeah, that was just stupidity, naivety, and just trying to be the Mad Anna, the persona that I had, but it was just uncalled for, and I do feel really bad about it. So hopefully it hasn't affected them mentally in the long run. That's all I can say. To be honest, I might not even trust women now after that, mightn't they not?
I don't think men trust women anyway. So I think you're good there. You know? Yeah. It's yeah, like I say, it's a mad roller coaster, but again, you've just got to fucking try and keep pushing through. You've got to put your seatbelt on, put your hands up,
Yeah.
try and enjoy it, you know, as much as you can. What about your TikToks and stuff and Instagram for people who maybe want to get a message across to you? Because people, like I say, the same as Veneer, done 11 years of, I think you get 16 years in sentences all in, but just a good soul who's a bit lost, but I would back them. You know what I'm saying? They'll
Yeah.
rather sit at a dinner table with those mad cunts than anybody else, you know, because they're genuine and loyal. They're just a bit distant.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they don't know how to handle all the feelings and emotions, you know? And she's doing great, so anything is possible for your future, you know, as long as you take ownership. So I think it's important, like you say, it's not shying away from your story. You've been very transparent, very open, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
You should be proud you're still here. Be proud that you still got your mum around, you know. So,
If I just want to say to young girls out there, obviously, even if they want to drop me a message on TikTok, it's ADH Queen Anastasia. Just even drop me a message if they need any support or anything, if they feel like they're being groomed or hanging around with older lads. Obviously, you don't trust women, we don't trust men. Yeah, just drop me a message and hopefully I can help them with obviously what I've been through in my life because I'm not that person anymore and I'd love to be able to help someone that is in that position or is living in that position and I'd love to do that as a sort of a give back because that's what I do now as well. Like at Christmas times, I always do like on the random acts of kindness pages, I'll do like lucky dips and stuff. So I'll write people's names down, pick it out of a hat, and I'll actually get presents for their kids and stuff and wrap them up and I'll take them to the house. And I've been doing that for a few years. Or getting people Christmas dinners, Marks and Spencer's turkey as well. Like I love doing that just to give and help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I might be a bad girl back in the day, but I do have a heart, and I always had a heart, but it was just hidden behind whatever was going on then.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Do you speak to any of the girls from prison?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
How they getting on?
Nadine, I speak to her quite a lot. She's on a podcast actually on the Blue Tick show. She's doing all right. My friend Christina, she's in Manchester. They're the only two I speak to be honest.
How are you feeling today?
I feel good to know, but it's feeling good actually coming out to actually speak about it all. So, but yeah, hopefully I've helped someone along the way.
For anybody that's maybe in that life of struggle, hanging about with older kids and doing things that they don't want to do, but they feel as if they want to impress them as well,
Yeah.
what advice would you have for them?
Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it.
What's all your social media links and stuff as well for people to get in contact, maybe people to drop you a message?
So yeah, it's ADH Queen Anastasia at Queen7 Anna with one N, or my Instagram is, I should know that, shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
My Instagram is ADH Queen7, which is the number 7, and my YouTube channel's at Queen7 Anna with one N. And also I do have a Cavapoo Brothers page, which is my little Cavapoo dogs, and they do a lot of things on TikTok as well. So
good. Anastasia, listen, I wish you nothing but the best for the future.
and you too.
hopefully you get your son sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I wish you the best for your fella and your mum, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank
Take
you.
care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Angie, thank you.